I'm looking to maybe make a music catalog.
For yourself?
Yeah. Did we start?
I did, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can go into it, but
Like that you can sell?
yeah, like I want to put kind of like
David Wesley kind of thing?
yeah, kind of, but more of like I think he does like exclusive deals maybe. Like he goes through a publisher and all that.
Does.
And I feel like I would
does
just
some independently too, I think.
yeah, I think I do pretty much all independently. I have to figure out like the licensing, how I would legalize that, and how I would, avoid like copyright issues with people just stealing stuff and then distributing wherever they want,
Sure.
But more like
All I
I
have
just
to do
want
is
to create
register
just
it
like a huge with the government copyright,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then I would just want to put it on my own website, have it all up there. It would be like, certain things would be, they would just pay for it, download it, and then it would be theirs.
Right.
Like and it would just be kind of like a
You can do like a Bandcamp type page.
yeah, kind of like that. I was actually gonna like build a website using like Dreamweaver, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
But
Squarespace is also good.
Squarespace, there was something between the two. I had to figure out which one was cheaper, to make like a business format that they could actually purchase stuff through it, because you have to do like the business option,
Right.
And then what I wanted to do was like cinematic kind of stuff, and then also beat making.
I'm gonna do some of that.
So yeah, I was gonna get into that. And there's a dude in Illinois that does this awesome YouTube channel for car reviews, and he does real great film work, and apparently he makes the music himself. I just found that out yesterday, and he's really good.
Okay.
But I was watching he just hit 100,000 subscribers, so he did like a Q&A special, and he's like between making original music,
right,
and making all this film and going through all the footage and doing all the research, he's like, I have zero life, and I would like eventually I would like to get some help on it. So I wanted to
hit him up.
I wanted to hit him up because he's up in like Chicago area apparently, cool. But his YouTube channel's been doing pretty well. Yeah,
this song's also good. This is the album, correct?
Yeah, dude, this one was good. I guess I have listened to a full album.
Okay. I suppose we should start this.
Begin. Our level's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll try it out.
All right. So this is episode 7 of the Music Cafe. Apologize that the other one was a little late, and now
we still don't have 6 up, but on
YouTube.
I think it's on YouTube. It's
yeah.
on SoundCloud. But yeah.
But Christmas and New Year's happened in there, so we were taking a little bit of a break and doing all that kind of stuff.
Whoops. Sorry to the 8 people that listen.
The 8
to this.
subscribers we have on YouTube,
including myself
and myself.
Right.
So now
so 6, give or take.
But who's counting?
What? Right. That's funny.
But and I know in the last episode we said that we were going to do a live songwriting session, which we still plan to do, but neither one of us came prepared for that. So
well, it's not even that. It's just that it's too cold to haul that keyboard over
that
here.
Too.
It's freezing, dude.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it has been minus 13 degrees the last 2 days.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I was looking at my phone, and I was like, oh man, it's 1 degree today.
Yeah.
But the good news is, it feels like -19. That's great news.
Only if that's great news to no one.
Boom.
Okay.
All right, moving on. We're not talking about the weather here.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Lit.
But I think something we're actually going to talk about today is one of the
Some headlines.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on in the industry. And one of the big ones right now is Spotify. I know there's a lot of Spotify users out there. It's a streaming service where you can access millions of songs for $10 a month, or for free, I guess, if you want to
do the ads.
Yeah. But Spotify is being sued by Wixen Publishing Company for $1.6 billion with a B. Exactly. $1.6 billion for copyright infringement. What they're saying is that Spotify did not properly purchase all of the rights to said like 10,000 songs or something like that from Wixen in order to have it on their
company.
Have it on their site. So, first of all, I think we should explain how that works a little bit.
Right. So
licensing and all that stuff.
So from the independent artist perspective, if you are trying to get your song on Spotify, and this works the same even for big artists, you have to go through a third-party distributor or publisher in order to get your songs on Spotify. That's the only way that they would accept it.
Right.
So if I wanted to put one of my original songs on Spotify, I wouldn't submit it to Spotify. I would have to register that song through a publisher. So sometimes people do CD Baby,
right,
or Record Union is the one that I used, and then I mean there's quite a few out there, right. But you have to put it through that, and then through their channels they can push that over to Spotify and get your artist page set up for you, but it has to go through a third party company. With major artists, they have their labels and their publishing company all set up for them. Right. So it's very easy for them to get their music distributed. I mean, that's one of the big perks of having a
publishing companies take the recorded music and distribute it, basically.
Right.
They get it placed. I mean, they can put it in like movies or other things like that, but
or even written music.
Written music too. Right, exactly.
They can put out the sheet music for you.
So but each time the way artists make money off of their recorded music is each time someone like Spotify or like a movie or someone else
like
needs
commercial
wants to use that recorded music, they have to pay for it. They pay a certain dollar amount for a certain length per song.
Spotify being the worst payoff in history.
Right. Yeah. Well, and so if someone approaches a publishing company and says, "Hey, I love Joe's track. I want to put it in my commercial."
Right.
How much do I owe you to use that track?
Right. And they probably have a standard fee for a certain this artist that only generates this kind of viewership or whatever.
Right. And that's called a mechanical license.
Right.
So what you see is if you go through YouTube or you go through wherever and all these lyric videos and all this stuff,
content pulled by Warner.
Yeah, right. People were using or distributing that music without paying for it.
Right. Which that's another story of YouTube having just a litany of issues with copyright infringement and how easy it is to rig the whole YouTube algorithm that they use. I mean, that's just a whole nother story, but
it is. But yeah,
proceed.
Just in general, anytime anyone besides the original artist wants to distribute or perform or duplicate or display recorded material, written material, they have to pay for it.
Correct.
They just buy it. So
morally, that's the right thing.
That's the right thing to do. Well, yeah, it's someone's product.
Right. It's
their job.
It's not seen. It's not seen that way.
Unfortunately,
widely, but there's plenty of issues.
Yeah,
with that. But I would say it's been a more positive incline on the kind of like moral system
I think it
for the
has
music
to.
industry lately, especially, I mean, even with the whole Spotify and all the streaming services, it really
Right.
helped those
Well, yeah.
copyright infringements. However,
Yeah, well, okay, so however, yeah, Spotify is being sued for $1.6 billion for incorrectly, like, for not buying copyrights for 10,000 songs, they say. And
the problem is it's for major artists,
right,
such namely
yeah,
Weezer, Tom Petty, Neil Young. I think who else is in there?
Black
The
Keys,
Black Keys.
a
What's that?
bunch
Sonic
of other
Youth.
people. Yep.
But yeah, big names, right? So what I think happened is they just went ahead and got these artists on there. I don't know if it was some mess up, but it kind of seems like it might have been intentional because those big names get people's ears and to Spotify, and they get subscribers, if they have the big name artists. Now the problem is that
The Beach Boys.
the beat, that's a
Rage
big.
Against the Machine, Missy
Yeah,
Elliott,
these are huge.
Journey.
These are huge names.
Mm-hmm.
So these attract ears, and when you get the people listening and you have the artists that they like, it attracts subscribers. So there's Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
So when the problem really is that Spotify apparently was not paying the publisher for the rights to these songs to have them on their
site,
on their docket,
Right.
And so they weren't paying anything for it. They just put these songs on there illegally. It's the same. It's generally the same thing that people do with YouTube, or like what Napster was back in the day. They were just ripping these songs from wherever they could
Right.
get them, and then
and what I
however
was
they
reading is that Spotify uses like third-party companies to go and get the licensing. Like Spotify themselves
right
does some of that, but they hire out some of that work. They contract that work. And
right
so my
to,
guess
like
is
CD Baby and all that. Right?
well, that too. They think for this one they were using Harry Fox agency, which is usually goes about getting licensing for major companies. But
so is that the fault of Harry Fox or Spotify?
well, I think they're putting it on Spotify because they were responsible for
putting it on their site.
getting the licensing, regardless of who they hired to do so. But my guess is they were, my guess is they had a conversation where they're like, okay, go and get that licensing, and while they were doing that,
they went ahead and
put it up
because they assumed that they would have it on there. So I mean, it
I
does
don't know.
seem like it is a little bit of
Who
a
knows?
kind of a miscommunication.
Yeah.
And this is a fun fact. From what this sounds like, that they went through. Okay, so Spotify went through Harry Fox to get to Wixen to get the publishing for these other artists. So there's a lot of moving parts there.
Yep.
I can see that some miscommunication may have happened there, to be fair. And
It's true.
Spotify, rather than going through the lawsuit, wanted to pay that off and just settle it and be like, hey, sorry about that. We'll take care of it.
But they do that all the time.
Spotify does not have a great reputation for paying up on artists. So
No, they don't.
it's a little bit on the fence for me. But this same thing did happen to my good pal, Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about this? Okay, so
Maybe.
do you remember Weird Al did his cover or his parody of Gangsta's Paradise? He did Amish Paradise. You remember
Yes.
this?
Yes, I do remember.
Hilarious. Classic stuff.
Right.
Anyway, so what happened was Weird Al, I mean, through copyright, you do not need... There's no copyright protection against parodies. You can do a parody as much as you want
Right.
of any song. There's no copyright against that.
Right.
So, but Weird Al, being the great guy that he is, he still likes to get permission
Sure.
from the people.
I would
Now, he ran into a problem with this because so Gangsta's Paradise is a Coolio song. And apparently Weird Al talked to someone who was associated with Coolio's people. I don't know if it was his manager
Publisher
or whatever. He
right.
talked to one of his, people. I don't know.
Representatives.
Right. And through some sort of miscommunication, it was understood Weird Al got the go-ahead to do the song.
Mm-hmm.
Now, regardless, it's totally legal for him to do the song.
Without...
So he could have done it regardless.
Right.
But it was his understanding that they gave him the go-ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Coolio himself did not want that done. He did not want Weird Al to
do the parody
because that was his best song, right? Mm-hmm. And he did it, and then the Amish Paradise became very popular, and Coolio kind of, I would assume, credits that to kind of ruining his career, because he didn't have much of a career after that.
Really?
That's his only big song.
That's true.
So Weird Al now directly walks himself to the artist of the song and gets permission from them directly instead of through all these channels, because with more moving parts, there's more points of failure.
Well, if you think about it, like Spotify needed licensing to these like 10,000 songs. They weren't going to go like them themselves weren't going to go like to each individual artist.
Right. No. And that's why I'm just saying I can see where there could be points of failure in the communication.
Right.
But then again, Spotify does not have the best.
No, they get sued quite often.
Yeah.
For doing this. One, either not paying out the artist enough money,
or just major artists boycotting the site. Taylor Swift did it, and Kanye and Jay-Z. Is Jay-Z even on there anymore? He might be on there now, but people do that all the time, because what is Spotify 0.007 per click?
Per play, something like that.
Yeah,
it's not very much.
Or is it 0.07? It might be that. I forget what it is. I don't know how many zeros.
Well, when we were in college, it was a third of a penny, but it's definitely gone up since then.
Has it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know what the number is, but this is interesting. I was reading the article a little bit more, and then this is what it says. This is from NBC News. Spotify said last year, in response to another legal action, that some copyright laws don't apply to it and other streaming services because the act of streaming does not reproduce copies of sound recordings or musical compositions, and equally does not distribute copies of either sound recordings or compositions.
Because it's not distributing it or distributing it. It's distributing. It's not distributing it. It's just streaming it. So it's not people downloading
making copies of it.
Right.
Which, so that, I think that's just...
Dude, there's a lot of gray area these days with that.
There is. I mean, these
copyright laws... Because no, they aren't. It's basically like radio. Like they're not giving you the songs. You are just accessing it through this streaming channel.
Right. That's why when Spotify and all these other streaming services came out, a lot of the copyright laws were amended or rewritten to accommodate.
And
well, now
they should have, because I think it's saved the music industry from a total collapse.
I think so too.
And it makes at least a little bit of money instead of none.
Yeah. Well, so for people who don't know, back before the 2000s, everyone was buying.
Well, this is late 90s into 2000s.
Right. Well, but before that, everyone bought physical.
You're going deeper.
Yeah, deeper. Everyone bought physical copies of music, whether it be albums, like vinyl or CDs, or vinyl and then cassettes and then CDs.
Like a vinyl record, and then they went to cassettes. And
then CDs in the 90s.
Yeah, but then that's where the problem started.
Right.
Is they created the CD, which was a digital format to get you a copy of the song.
Well, then computers started coming out.
Right. And then you had the CDs, which had the master of the song. It had a perfect master recording of the song.
Right.
So there was no tape fuzz or any sort of clicks or anything to get. It was a perfect copy of the song.
Yep.
So that's where the problem started. And then they sold those CDs at a ridiculous price, and the industry skyrocketed. But then,
because you're paying like $15 an album or $20 a record,
dude, easily
more.
20. And then, so the industry just skyrocketed, and then it collapsed because the popularity of computers, was on the rise. This is in the early 2000s, late 90s. So Napster was coming out. what was it,
LimeWire,
FrostWire, all that stuff. But
where
all of these things were just rip and torrent these songs, and just that's where the music industry failed big time, because they put out the perfect master of the copy and such an easy way to access it.
Yeah, the record industry was not paying attention to how people were wanting to get music.
No, they just pay attention to easy buck, because the CD was super cheap to make.
Right. And so people were getting songs without paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thousands and thousands of songs without paying for them, and so no one was making any money.
Right.
And then so there's kind of this panic, and then about how we were going to do that. And then iTunes came out, which helped a little bit, but I mean, rather than paying $20 a song,
you pay $1 per song. And that's what started the singles.
And and then the downloads. But still, people weren't making nearly as much money off of that. It was popular for a while, and then now the streaming services, which is definitely better for the consumer. Because it
is better for the consumer, and I think it is better for to alleviate copyright infringement.
I think so,
because you can't really rip the songs or it's definitely more difficult to do it from Spotify. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of program out there that can rip it from Spotify.
Sure, but
it is way more difficult.
Well, and people are becoming more interested in just like accessing, being able to listen to music.
That's what it was
rather than
in the beginning.
Paying for it.
Right. I think that's what it was in the beginning for, like Napster and LimeWire or whatever.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get the songs, one, for free,
yep,
and two, as conveniently as possible. They sit right there at their computer. They type it in. It's there. It's the same thing for Spotify.
Right.
People don't have the feeling that they're paying for every single song that they have to listen to.
Right. It's easy to access.
And they can just do the same thing. They type it in, the song's right there for them.
Right.
So all these streaming sites, I mean, I think they finally kind of figured it out. The royalty payout is pretty much the only problem that needs to be solved nowadays.
Yeah, it's really low in comparison to what artists were making.
Right.
But it's better than...
The industry was outstanding back in the early 2000s. That was the peak of it.
Right.
People made an unbelievable amount of money. Like Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears, they didn't have a long career.
No.
But they can live off that money forever because they were making so much money back then.
Right.
It was crazy how much money they made back then.
And it was all off of recorded music rather than just like concerts and merch and
because
stuff like that.
They didn't do the 360 deals back
anymore,
then.
Right? But now, since the payouts from Spotify and other things are so much lower, artists look to other forms to make money, so like concerts and other things like that. But what I said when we debated this back in college, I was always saying, look, like, people are getting upset about the payouts, but if you didn't have Spotify, you didn't have Apple Music and Google Play Music, I mean, they wouldn't be making any money because people would just be ripping it off. It would
still be ripping it, yeah.
Right.
But I think the streaming format, one, took way too long to take off, I think, because Netflix was out for so long, and I don't know why it took so long to get
a music.
I don't know, maybe it just takes a while to build up the catalog for it, but
well, the music industry is always
behind big time.
The game.
Yeah.
And by music industry, I mean like record labels. They're always behind the curve.
Because they're more focused on how can we make the maximum amount of money.
Yeah.
And there's probably too many moving parts to ever make a decision on things. But the streaming format has definitely bypassed the torrenting of like Napster and LimeWire and all that. So that's why you don't see those anymore. Nobody has that anymore.
Right.
Spotify is way more convenient than LimeWire and Napster.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think Napster is gone because they had a huge lawsuit.
They did.
Yeah, I think that ended up being illegal.
Right.
Right.
Well, people are still like trying to get music for free. I have conversations with that occasionally at work.
Yeah, people still do it, but it's way more difficult.
And I try to be like, hey, this is someone's like job. Like,
there you go. Moral high ground there.
Yeah, a little bit. But no, and so then we have problems like Spotify has problems all the time getting, lawsuits, and they just end up paying it out. But I think I don't really see yet another direction of listening to, recorded music other than streaming. But now artists make more money off of touring and selling merchandise and getting their songs licensed, published, placed in commercials and TV and movies and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah.
So moving on with copyright for, let's say, an independent artist, what would you say should be the go-to moves?
Oh yeah, this is a good way to go for this.
Yeah, good segue, right? So what would you say is the best move for an independent artist of securing their rights to their music?
So technically, according to the law, the minute that you record it,
it's technically yours. Right.
Okay.
But
so the minute that you put it in on some sort of copy, like your hard drive on your computer or on a CD or whatever it is technically your responsibility.
Right.
Right. However,
the problem is proving it. Right.
So just saying that, hey, I recorded this doesn't stand up in the court of law at all. So what you can do is you can actually file it with the Library of Congress, the copyright agency, and basically what you do is you mail. Well, you can do it online now too, but you send it into them. They stamp it with your name and the date.
They just give it a timestamp of
whatever makes it
when they receive it in their
right, and
system.
then they just file it, and so now you can prove you have some legal document saying this is my song,
right,
my music, and I think it's probably some charge to do that,
right,
but it's not very expensive.
Now that is a government copyright, so
correct,
that will be the strongest to uphold in court, if you're really worried about that. But it's not a bad idea. It's pretty cheap, I think, to get that done. I think it's like $15 maybe.
Right.
Is that right?
I don't
remember.
I don't remember.
I've done it once, or I looked into it once, and I ended up not. I was lazy.
Right.
It's somewhat easy to do it. It's a government website, so it's not the most efficient thing.
Yeah.
But then, so that's like the U.S. copyright.
Yep.
Legal copyright right there. So that's what holds the strongest. Also, if you do put it through a like CD Baby or
that's more of like
something
a distributor.
like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they do put a copyright on that. It's not the strongest.
Okay.
Form of copyright, and I don't know how clear of a date like they stamp it with, but when you put something on Spotify, they copyright it under your name.
Yeah.
But it's not so clear as to when you put it on there. I don't know how easy that is to access, like those dates and all that. But really, essentially the problem is with copyright. The only way that you would run into this problem is if someone steals your song,
right,
or someone recreates your song,
covers it,
right, does a cover, or basically stole your melody line, all that, and made it as their own.
It's a very gray area.
It is, and it's hard to prove. So this is what happens typically in these types of trials, or lawsuits, whatever. You will have to prove, one, that it is similar to your song. And how long is that? I forget. There's like a legal amount that it has to.
I don't remember
that, but it's not that much. It has to be. I mean, if it's really your song, I know we should.
Where's
have
Mr.
Carl,
Anderson
right?
for this? I looked out the door. I'm waiting for him to pop in the door and be like, it's actually this.
I know, and then he's probably so disappointed that we don't know it off the top of our head.
Yep. It's been 2 years, Carl.
I know.
3 years since I took a music business class.
How long is it? It's been a while for me, dude. Anyway, so that part isn't as hard to prove, that the songs are similar, right?
Right.
The other part is that you have to prove some sort of connection that would cause this person to actually steal your song. They know of your song and they stole it. Right. So that's the hardest part to prove.
Yep.
So you have to figure out a way that they could have found your song and stole it, which is really hard these days with how much access you put to your songs. So anyone can find your song on SoundCloud. It's just a few clicks, and then somehow they stumble upon it, or on Spotify, whatever. It's very easy to find your songs if you make it easy, which you should. Don't be discouraged with that, but just kind of pay attention to where your songs are being listened to. Get analytics if you can. But typically what happens in these cases is you can take it to trial, or what most cases are, you can actually pinpoint them and figure out where they stole your song from, and actually, you got them, right?
Yeah, it's just a buyout.
Right. So then the artist who you are suing, or if you're getting sued, you might want to consider doing a settlement. Yeah. Because that'd probably be the best option, unless, a trial is a better option for you. I don't know. But usually what happens is the major artist will keep the rights to the song, but they'll give you a big chunk of change for it.
Right.
Which is probably better than what you were ever going to get with the rights to your own song.
That's probably true.
Right. But that's typically what happens. But the hardest part is, one, yes, you can prove that you made the song first very easily by putting it on the government copyright site. And then, two, the hard part is you have to prove that they found your song after that copyright stamp, right?
Yes.
So that's the hard part there.
Yeah, it gets a little gray. And if anyone pays attention in the music industry, you notice this happen a couple of years ago when Bruno Mars got sued for using an Uptown Funk. Apparently, there was a lawsuit saying that he ripped off, I don't remember which artist it was, but like the melody or the chords.
Wasn't it Marvin Gaye?
Marvin Gaye, yes.
Is that right? No. But here's why that lawsuit was so messed up, dude. They sued Bruno Mars, or Mark. What's his name?
Bruno Mars.
But it's not his song.
Oh,
it's Ronson.
Mark Ronson.
Is that his name? Mark Ronson.
Yes.
So they sued him for the song because it had the same vibe as the.
Yeah.
It wasn't even melody line or anything. That's
right.
Crazy. So does that mean that you can sue anybody that does a 12-bar blues song? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why it didn't actually stand up.
No, I thought that went through.
Did it?
Oh, no. It wasn't that song. It wasn't that song. It was oh my gosh, what the heck is his name? Oh my gosh, start the Jeopardy music. I'm trying to think of this one. It's the dude that did
Which song?
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. Go
okay.
on, I'll think of it.
All right. But anyway, so that's something to watch for as you're posting your music and
Robin Thicke. Got it. Do you remember that one?
That's what it is. Yes.
What was that?
I know it's
Blurred Lines. It was Blurred Lines was a rip of a Marvin Gaye song.
That's what it was.
And he got sued, and I think he had to pay up for it. And then I think they took it back to trial because they were like, why did we agree to this? Like, why?
Yeah.
This was not.
Well, and do you remember the one Led
jest.
Zeppelin got sued for Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah, but that one didn't
go through.
That didn't go through either.
I don't think so.
They probably paid it out.
Probably.
Because it kind of seemed legit. Like, they might have stole that.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to look into this, what ended up happening was, there's no name band that was popular in the 70s.
And this is typically what happens with these lawsuits. Yeah. No one's gonna sue someone that's a nobody.
Right.
You just sue someone that's got the money to.
No name band that no one's heard of in the last 20 years, 30 years, was suing Led Zeppelin for Stairway to Heaven, saying that the main melody line was completely ripped off
chord progression
were completely ripped off of their song. And they said, and this band actually toured with Led Zeppelin around the time Stairway to Heaven came out. And so they said this song's very similar. And then, like you said, they can prove, or they had some sort of evidence that they were together, or Led Zeppelin knew of their song at that time. So that was kind of crazy.
So if this were my case, if I were that random band, I would say I had them. Right. Like that. I think that's legit. Yep. Led Zeppelin probably stole that song. Maybe not like consciously. I mean, that's another topic that like you subconsciously like remembered the melody and all this, and you don't remember where it came from.
Yeah.
But it could very well be that they stole that song.
Yep.
Essentially. So Led Zeppelin probably paid up and settled that one out. And that's typically what happens, is that you can prove that you made the song first and there is some connection between you and the band or the artist, you know?
Yep.
And then you got them. They stole your song.
Yep.
If some big time artist steals your song, go ahead and sue them.
But in the perfect, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
In a perfect world, they will. I mean, these are exceptions, not the rule, right? So, in a perfect world, people pay you to use your music somewhere, either as a copy or a sample, or being displayed, being played in.
There's some workarounds with sampling too. We could get into that in another episode.
That's not my area of expertise, but
I'd have to go back to the book for that one.
Yeah,
there's a certain amount that you can take
for free.
For free, yeah.
Yep. So if as an artist, if you want to make some more money besides like playing shows or even just selling your album, just you partner with a publishing company so that you can get it placed in other things, right? So other people will pay you to use it other places, like in movies and commercials, or on some streaming services or whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's another aspect. Or create your own publishing company. You can do that too.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That'll take some research.
Yeah.
Figure out how to.
If you want to make the most money just yourself, own a record label, create a record label, and a publishing company, because then you get both sides of the copyright law.
Right.
You get all of the revenue back,
right?
Rather than having to distribute it to other parties.
Just make sure that you can distribute it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's where you make the money.
Right.
Right.
Oh, and then when you partner with a publishing company, you get 50% of
that copyright. So you get a quarter of your total copyright, essentially.
Correct.
Right.
But if you own your own publishing company, you get 100% of it.
100%.
Because
it's
your.
You get 100% of the publishing copyright.
Side. Correct.
Yeah.
If any one of you are interested in that, you can research it online, but we can dive more into that if you want. We can talk about completely the differences in copyright law.
Yeah, if there's for people out there that do listen to this, if you do have issues with something specific that you've tried and it just didn't click or whatever, you didn't know which channel to move to,
right?
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah,
send a comment and we'll try to get you as specific of examples as we can to help you get your music out there quickly, efficiently, and safely.
Yep, it's a good thing. Also, you can comment about your favorite streaming service if you want.
Yeah.
Anyone out there that uses like Tidal or Spotify or Apple Music, or I use Google Play Music.
I do Spotify. It's just the way to go. You gotta stream now.
I also buy records, vinyl every now and then. A lot of people.
I want to get into that. I just need to get a player, but
coming to Best Buy.
Yeah, I can do that. I want to get the HS5 speakers soon too. That's gonna take some time, but I want to get the it's the Keylab 88. It's an Arturia.
You were telling me about that.
It's a MIDI controller, but it's like weighted keys and all that. And then they got the sample pads up there. But then I want to get that, and then the complete virtual instrument package. Dude, it'd be so sweet. And then we'll get the speakers up there. Man, this is all just nonsense. I'm just talking about gear now.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing I wanted to bring up was... Okay, hold up. I had it here.
Is this related to?
Yeah, kind of. Okay. It's just new year, new albums.
Oh.
So we've got in the next month, let's see here. We've got starting January 12th. Okay, so we got Anderson East. I'm just going to name a couple that I recognize. Humphreys McGee is coming out with one.
Yep.
I'm probably not gonna listen to it.
Probably not.
Yeah. Charlie Puth. Fall Out Boy's got a new one. Not gonna listen to it. Glenn Hansard or Hansard.
I don't know who that is.
Do you remember? Do you know the movie Once? Or it's also a musical now.
Mm-mm.
You should check it out. The movie. I mean, but he's a great songwriter.
How do you spell that?
HANSARD.
Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah, he's an Irish songwriter. He's really, really good. And then let's see. Porches. We're going in through January here. Nothing big in January, but February 2nd, the one that I'm... Oh, we got feedback there. The one that I'm really looking forward to in February is AWOL Nation. Here Come the Runts. It's going to be so good. I'm such a big fan, dude. I love AWOL Nation. He's crazy. I would check that out.
Okay. When does that come out?
February 2nd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake's.
That's also February 2nd. Yeah, Justin Timberlake just announced today. Was that today? Yesterday. I think he announced that. But and Rye's coming out with a new one on the 2nd. Also, Rich Chiga, who is the I forget where he's from, but he's a quick rise rapper. Anyway.
But Justin Timberlake. We thought it was interesting that he is collaborating with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
So
but they did that before at the Billboard Awards, maybe, or maybe the Grammys.
Oh.
At least 1 or 2 years back, they did the Drink You Away song.
Yes.
They both did that.
Yes.
And I think they both live in Nashville area. So I think they're good pals now. Probably. So it'd be a sweet album.
Well, Justin Timberlake does collabs with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Other than just, like, pop stars. He was on the new Foo Fighters record. Do you know that?
Was he really?
Yeah. He did some background vocals.
I had no idea. Is he actually, like...
featured?
Credited?
No.
He's just in it.
Uh-huh. Because I watched a little behind-the-scenes video.
And he's just
Dave
there.
Grohl was talking about how they created the album. And...
This is for Concrete and Gold?
Yeah.
That one?
I think it's on... I think it's on this one here.
For real?
No, it's not this one. I don't think it's this one either. I don't remember. Oh, I think it is. What's the one where they go, he's like, ha, 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 in the back?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it might. This one, right there.
That's Justin Timberlake there? That's hilarious. Do you know that Stevie Wonder, I mean, you know this, we've talked about it, but Stevie Wonder goes uncredited for a lot of people's recordings, mainly for harmonica. Yeah. Yep. In the end, so Drake's first big album, the Take Care, 1, great album. 2, Stevie Wonder's in there. He's on, oh my gosh, here, look that up.
He's on Bruno Mars's records too.
Oh yeah?
Playing harmonica.
Uncredited?
Uncredited.
Yeah, I looked through. So just type in Drake Take Care. I can't remember if I see it. It's towards the end. Doing it wrong, I think. And then just like go to the end, like halfway. Yeah, yeah. Nah. Yeah, keep going a little bit. It just has like a harmonica outro to this song, and it's
Stevie Wonder.
I was just like, that sounds like Stevie Wonder right there, and I looked into it. Totally is, but uncredited. I'm like, Stevie Wonder, what a good dude.
Well,
he just does all this stuff.
He was when I was at CRC. Did I tell
Right.
you this?
In Chicago.
Yeah, he recorded while I was there.
For
I
who
never
was
met
that for?
Bruno Mars.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh my.
For that Bruno was not there, but the story goes that he was just there recording, and one of his managers or agents or whoever came in and was like, "Hey, Mr. Wonder, like, just like here's the phone. Bruno's on the line. He wants to say thank you and all that stuff." And he was like, "Wait, who's on the phone?"
He doesn't
like,
know who
he doesn't,
Bruno Mars
well,
is.
I think he just didn't. He was just there playing like as a studio musician. He didn't really.
Oh, he didn't
care.
realize who it was for?
Nope.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's
There.
the.
Oh, this is nice.
Now, I will put it out there. I don't care what anyone says on this. It is just a fact. Stevie Wonder is the greatest modern day musician of all time. The modern era musician of all time.
He is.
I mean, you can go
he's
back,
incredible.
like disregarding, like Beethoven and like Mozart and them, like they don't count. Modern era, Stevie Wonder is the absolute best. You don't get better than that guy.
That's a very bold statement,
Dude,
Joe.
have you seen him? Have you seen the one where they walk him over to the drums during one of his set? Dude,
And he plays the drums.
yes, he's a blind
That's
man. They
crazy.
walk him over to the drums, then he feels out where all the toms are and everything, and then he just cranks it out.
Some people,
Dude, he is so good. He can play anything
some
very
people think
well.
That's a conspiracy that he's not 100% blind.
Oh, pff,
Yeah.
whatever. Who cares? He still plays better than
Yeah.
people with sight.
Yeah. That's true.
Even if he weren't blind, I don't care. I don't credit his blindness to how good he is. He just comes up with really, really good songs.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Like he has so many just timeless classics.
Hits.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
And on top of one of them, Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio.
Wait, what?
That's really his song. Coolio had to get permission from Stevie Wonder to get that song.
Really?
So how that one came about is that comes from oh my gosh, what album is that? It's a Stevie Wonder album, and it's called Pastime Paradise, maybe. But so Coolio had a good idea for the song that he wanted to make that into his beat and the whole hook for his song.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he wanted to change it to the Gangsta's Paradise, so he had to re-record it. But Stevie Wonder's got the copyright in that, so then he had to ask Stevie Wonder for permission, and Stevie said, "Yes, you can do it. It's a good idea, but no swear words." So then Coolio had to rewrite that song over and over and over again until he got the okay from Stevie Wonder, being like, "That's a good song. You can
Go ahead
release
and do
that."
it.
And it's a great song because Stevie Wonder is like, "Yes, it's a great song. Of course you could release that now."
Nice.
Now that it's got my approval.
Well, yeah.
But seriously, the song is great. But yeah, he took that from Stevie Wonder. AS.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, there it is.
'95.
Dude. And then just look up Stevie Wonder, and we'll find the comparison here. Steven Wonder. So go to his albums there. It's hold up. Go open all of his albums there, because I think it's that. Which one is that there? No, down one row. I think it's that one. Is that, yeah, Songs in the Key of Life. And then it's way down. There's a ton of songs on this album, but it's called it's something Paradise on there.
Pastime Paradise?
Pastime Paradise, there it is. But yeah, this is a 2-disc album.
There it is.
There's the dog.
There's the dog, too.
Should let her?
No.
No.
She can stay out for the moment. Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
Totally.
But then they sing the same hook and everything, but it's Pastime Paradise.
Cool.
But yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know it either, and then I was just listening through this album. I was like, Stevie Wonder stole Gangsta's Paradise.
The other way around. Nah.
A little bit time shift there, but yeah, that's all for like the. I mean, we've been done with any substantial material for the last like 15
well,
minutes.
Well, that was kind of related. Talking about people using other people's music.
We kind of derailed ourselves here.
I think that's all we got for the moment for this week. I think either in the next doggo. I think in the next week or so we'll probably dive more into copyright. I'm gonna have to brush up on that a little bit. We can talk about the differences, different copyrights that you can pay attention to as an artist. But and then eventually we'll get to the live recording session too.
Yeah,
got to prepare for that too. And where it's warmer out, we can move instruments.
That'd be easier.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks.
Bye.